Hello, all. Thank you for joining us again on the Almost Brothers podcast. Hey, will you do us a favor? If this podcast has meant something to you and encouraged you, will you consider becoming a monthly supporter? You could do $3, $5, $8, or $10 a month. What this does is this helps financially support the podcast so that we can continue to put out content and help better serve you. So if you would, down in the show notes, you can click the link, support, and become a monthly member. We love you. New episode coming your way. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another podcast of the Almost Brothers. Here with your host, Michael Simmons. As always, my co-host,
Jeremiah Dale. What's up?
How's it going, Jeremiah?
Good, very good.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking with the Randls. The one and only Randl, no E, Randl, no E.
Okay.
Don't forget that.
Hold the E.
Yeah, their boys got on me for putting an E at the end like it was that crazy. Right. You know, you spell handle with an E at the end. So, but yeah, we're going to dig into where they see themselves in ministry. Also, an awesome testimony of what happened while we were on vacation in Branson. So it's going to be a good one. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. Quick PSA, just a reminder, still about 40% of our listeners aren't subscribed. So be that awesome guy or girl and subscribe, share with your friends, let people know about us. We're trying to grow this thing and get it out to as many ears as we can.
That's right.
Jeremiah,
don't tell me I'm looking good.
Looking good as usual. My wife made fun of me last time. Like, oh, you always, I want you to come into this feeling good.
Well, I always feel good around you because you make it that way.
I try. I do my best. On today's episode, we have our guest, the Randls.
Hey,
Brother Bishop, eventually, Bishop Richard.
Oh, that requires way too much education. I can't do it.
And Miss Jennifer, how you doing?
Fine.
How's everything going?
Great.
All right. We had your boys on earlier. That was interesting.
Yes, it was. They did a good job.
They are interesting.
It was like shocking how good and professional and ready to go they were. It was really good. It was, I thought they were joking around at first. They're like, oh, let's do an episode. And I'm like, okay. And it started. Jeremiah wasn't here yet. And they started, and I'm like, whoa, like y'all are being for real. Like this is going good. Like I have to wait until Jeremiah gets here. So I called him, and he kind of rushed over.
He said, how quick can you get here?
I was like, we could do it over the phone, but he's like, no, I'm on the way. So
On the spot.
It was good.
Man,
It cracked me up because they were like, oh, when I was younger.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like you're
the
like
good
13?
old days.
When I was a kid.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yesterday?
But they did really good, and they pointed out some things, about how, when you make that decision to give your life to the Lord, it's different when you make it for yourself, because a lot of times you go with the flow. And when you do that for yourself, at that age of accountability, then it just means so much more. And that's what they talked about. And it was really good.
Man, it was
really good.
And I think a lot of youth listening, will really relate to that.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, it was so good. So we're going to try to have them on again sometime and really get the youth involved in it. So we're excited about that. But Richard,
yeah,
man, let's hear about this awesome testimony, man. I'm excited to being there and seeing it is so cool. But I get excited for other people to hear it.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. It was all God. I mean, first and foremost. So I got to have a little backstory here for this whole thing. So I have 2 adult children that I haven't seen in like 20 years for reasons I'm not getting into. Me and their mother split up, and she went through some stuff. And anyway, they got took away from me. So that kind of drove me into a period of a couple years of drinking heavily in the bottom of a bottle. So we were getting ready to go on this Branson trip with the youth. Now, about a year ago, I got in touch with my oldest son, Dylan, on Facebook. Internet is not for the devil. There are good things on there. That's right,
yeah. So, every now and then, it's
occasionally. But it hadn't been going well. It was kind of a hit or miss, kind of talk to him every once in a great while kind of thing. And So he lives in Branson. So we was getting ready to go to Branson. I was going back and forth, do I call him? Do I tell him I'm coming? And finally I decided not to. I just didn't want that rejection, because I'd had so much of it already with him. So we go to Branson, and that Saturday morning we go to McDonald's, and I look up and my son is ordering at the counter.
Oh, same.
At a McDonald's 30 minutes away from where he lives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, it's so amazing to me, but the things that lined up to where, because the girls joined us there, they weren't even supposed to be there, which took longer.
Yeah.
And then my son and Mikey decided they had to have coffee because you can't live without that. So they had to go back to the counter. So they had to go back to the counter for coffee. So if any one of those things hadn't happened, that I wouldn't have met him. So we exchanged numbers, which is, we hadn't been able to do that. We had just talked on Messenger. So we got to texting back and forth that Saturday, and it turned into, I ended up meeting my grandbabies for the first time Sunday morning.
Oh my!
So I have 3 grandbabies from him, and it's just way too much coincidence to be anything but God. It was ordained. It was His timing. It's just incredible how that happened.
Wow, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, it was and like you said, if anything, if we wouldn't have waited on the girls, we would have been done out of there before he showed up. If we would have went to Burger King, there's how many places, in Branson to eat.
Right.
We could have went anywhere. Me and Hunter decided we wanted coffee after everybody had ordered, got their food, and headed out to the van. And we're like, well, we're going to stay in.
You held everybody up.
Kind of.
Always. He's very high maintenance.
You're welcome. Glad I could, have my part in that. So what happened is most of the youth went back to the van, and I was like, well, Richard, if you want to go back to the van, you can go back, and me and Hunter will finish up here. And he decided to stay back. He wanted to decide to stay back. We don't know what his son looks like. They would have just missed each other. So it's like all these small things lined up. We talked earlier about God's timing, how God's timing is perfect, and He'll set everything up in motion. So, just the fact that he went to this McDonald's, the fact that we waited on the girls, the fact that we waited on our coffee, all these things lined up, and it was awesome because Hunter looked at me and said, I think that's his son. And I turned around and looked, and they look identical. It's like a 20-year, just identical. I turned around and looked. I'm like, yep, that is. So, we went by and his other boys that were in the van, they're like, oh, we want to go meet him. We're like, no, let them talk, because I can't imagine trying to balance that, like not pushing too hard.
Right. It was very hard because I didn't want to push hard. He was basically told that I didn't exist. His stepfather, who his mom married after me, she told him that was their biological father. And so before we even got anywhere with this relationship or whatever, I had to prove to him who I was. I had to send him pictures and medical records and stuff. And it was just a crazy, crazy thing. And for that to go that way was just, and I was I was ridiculously awkward. My sons have given me all kinds of stuff about it, but I went up to him. I said, Dylan, I'm Richard. What do you say?
Good opening line.
Yeah. So,
what are you trying to date or what? I'm Richard.
Well, I did get those digits. So.
That's true. That's true. Man, it's just so cool that God's putting those pieces back together. Right. Not only did you get to meet him, talk to him, get his number, but then the opportunity opened for you to meet the grandkids, and it's just like crazy. And it was cool to get back to the hotel, and we were all excited for Jennifer and for her reaction, once we got back, because, she is what I consider the glue of this family. Richard's the mouth, and Jennifer would be the glue that holds this crazy family together, because it's not your typical family, right? It's kind of bits and pieces that come from here and there, and the boys kind of talked about that a little bit, and so I want to ask you. Actually, we have a question that comes in. It's directly for you, Jennifer. It's kind of for both y'all, but it's mostly for Jennifer. So we'll get to this. Let's see what we got.
Hey, Mom and Dad, how's the experience been taking in kids that's not biologically yours? For an example, Dad, you took in me and Easton, and Mom, you took in, well, everybody, and y'all taking in Jimmy. How did that go?
It's an interesting question.
That was very difficult. I was pretty young and met a man with 4 kids. Then we had Emma after several years of him. I'm never getting married again. I'm never having kids again. And then he got married, had more kids. So, but it was really tough because, for one, you're not my mom. You can't tell me what to do. And vice versa. You're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do. And then a little while later, neither or their mom or their dad was in the picture. So it was just me and Richard, and it got a lot easier. And then on the Jimmy note, that was just kind of a spur of the moment. He had nowhere to go, and we wasn't putting him on the street. He was with us for about a year, and then Mom came back in the picture and just ripped him right apart, right from us, and that tore us apart. But we loved him, still love him, as he's our own.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just love whoever, whenever they need to be loved.
Man, and that's the beautiful. I've never seen a couple as willing to take in and help kids as much as I have y'all. You know, seeing all y'all's, and then the extra ones that may have been older and graduated that just need somewhere to be, and y'all are there with open arms. You know, and that's awesome because so many times these kids don't have something to go back to. They don't have a family to be there and say, you know what, even though, you know, you're old enough, you should be out on your own, have a job, but you know what, you need help. We're here to help.
And it was something hard too, you know, coming from a step parent point of view. It's so hard to deal with the tears that are cried when a biological parent isn't there and won't do what they're supposed to do, you know. And biology is completely irrelevant, whereas we're concerned, like you said, if a kid needs loved, it's here, it's available to you. All you got to do is be there. And that's kind of always been our philosophy, I guess, not even knowing it was a philosophy. It's just the way we are. But we're now looking into fostering. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word for some reason. We're looking into fostering now, so that's going to give us an opportunity to love even more kids. So,
heck yeah. And what do y'all see? What do y'all see as a family? As first of all, it's just y'all two as a couple, but then as a family whole, where do you see God leading your life? Maybe it's in ministry or just all around. You know, because y'all have, what do y'all have, 4 or 5 teenagers in the house right now?
We have 4 teenagers in the house, and then Emma, which is 7. So that's just directly in the house. And then we have Lauren. She comes every other weekend. She's a teenager as well. And then we have our grown daughter, which is 21. Yeah.
So what do y'all see God leading y'all's family? Like once, because y'all aren't too far away from most of them being out of the house and.
Man, I can't wait for that. I mean, no, it's going to be challenging and terrible when they leave. No, but seriously, it's going to be hard, man, especially because they're stair-step, right? Because we've got one that graduated this year, and then we'll have for the next, 4 years?
4 now.
4 years now, one graduates every year. So we're going to be experiencing that one leaving every year for the next 4 years. And it hurts my heart to even think about that.
Yeah.
But that's what our job is, right? As parents, you know, we're supposed to raise them as they should go. I don't want them to go. So
just stay. I think Missy had a problem with that when she was talking about her oldest graduating, and like, oh man, like it's such a weird dynamic, especially when they are fresh out. I know for me, I wanted to get I don't want nothing to do with my parents. You know, I wanted to be out, and I'm on my own now. I'm 19. I know what's going on, and it's like I went for 1, 2, 3 months at a time not talking to my parents because I'm out on my own and I'm independent and I'm in college and then you get back to it and you're like, man, I missed y'all. Like I really did miss. So I dread that for you. I still got
Missy's going through it right now because her oldest is just now coming back around to start wanting her opinions on things and talking to her, and they talk almost daily now. And the one that just graduated high school, she's kind of MIA sometimes. She's doing her own thing, and got college coming up. So, but they'll go through that, and I know that according to my wife, that's not much fun. So
yeah, well, our 21-year-old, she doesn't come back around much. Just she's living her life and doing her thing, and Hunter, he's our 17-year-old. He's going to graduate next year, and he's going to lineman school. So he's planning on being gone, like traveling the country and doing that as a career. And that's great. It's a great career for him. He loves to work outside, and I think that's fantastic. But again, we don't want him to go. We wanted, we wanted to, and I know that they'll make time for us, when they can. But it won't be the same as waking up and them being in the house with us. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing I do not look forward to. Oh my goodness. Lee leaving, cause we grew up together. Right. We had her at such a young age.
When did you grow up?
That's true. Did I ever grow up? I mean, really, let's be honest here. My brain's a 12-year-old child still.
Right.
And adolescence.
Carry on.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't look forward to that, but I do because I look forward to seeing where God takes her. She's talented, and I think we all think that about our kids. It's going to be cool to see where God takes them and what He does in their life. So my next question is where do y'all as a couple see yourself? Maybe it's in ministry or something like that. Where do y'all see God taking you? I know, Jennifer, you talked something about the Jeremiah house thing, right?
Yeah. I'm always interested in helping anyone that needs help. That's just where I've been when I was a kid growing up. If any of my friends needed help, that's where I was at.
Yeah.
And that's where I've been, all my life. I just help whoever needs help. I don't speak a lot. I don't talk to a lot of people. I'm quiet. But if you need help, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So,
man, and that's one thing about y'all is, I told Pastor, just helping with the youth, just being there, night in, night out, even at the lock-in when, Emma wasn't feeling great, but y'all were still there up at 1 a.m, helping with stuff. And you don't find that every day. Me and Jamie did it for a long time by ourselves with no help. You had people that said they'd be there. Oh yeah, we're here. And they were on, off, hit, miss. I remember we did a car wash and it was me and Jamie, and she was pregnant. She was 8 months pregnant washing cars because we had no other adults, there to help.
And that's a sad truth that when you have anything in ministry, people want to help. It sounds good to help until it comes time to do the work.
Yeah.
And then people are like, well, I've got this to do and that to do, and I forgot I've got to wash my car. So
yeah, and just bounce on you like, oh, all right, cool. Which that's the same with Jeremiah and Missy, man. Is meeting people. We talked about this earlier. Is God will move you from one place to another, and sometimes we think it's for this reason, but really it's you meet somebody in that what we thought is we're over here, but really God just sent you there to meet a certain amount of people, and I think that's what it was for their family and for our family is. We talked about when they came down and made the move to Malden to decide to want to go to Revive. It was about the same time me and Jamie came back to the church and started working at the church again. So it was like God moved us both together to connect with one another. And I think same with y'all, with y'all leaving your church.
Yeah, we left Holcomb. Malden was never on our radar, and we just absolutely just lucked into a house here in Malden that was big enough for our family and we could buy, and then going to Revive, that was the first church that God led us to. We was like, well, we'll try a few churches, see how it feels, and see where God's leading us. Walked into Revive. That was it. That was home. And then when it closed, it's like, man, what are we going to do now? That was, and then we just kind of migrated to Lighthouse, and it's been seamless. It's like that's what God was planning.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Has it been that seamless with y'all? It's been about the same with y'all. That's what you said.
For sure. like I said, we kind of wanted to move here to Dexter anyway, because my wife works up here, and there was just a lot more job opportunities for myself too. And we kind of, wanted to be in the school district with my daughter moving down and stuff. There was a lot of reasons that we wanted to move up here to Dexter. And then, it took a disaster, but
literally,
my wife said earlier that she was praying, that something would change, and praying that, that God would move in our situation. And I said, you literally prayed down fire.
Fire down from heaven. Yeah.
But it took something that in the natural looked negative and turned it into to exactly what we needed to propel us into the next stage or next season of our life, and we couldn't be happier up here. I mean, we love Pastor Tina and Tim, and it's just a great place up here.
And it's cool how we all made that move in different ways.
Right.
I've known, like I always say, I've known Pastor Tim since I was 12, 13. We've been connected with the Lighthouse. So that relationship's always been there, but it's cool seeing this shift happen to where it looks like such a bad thing, y'all's house burning and Revive closing. It's like, oh man, like this is crazy. What are we going to do? And then it all shifted us here, and it's so seamless because Pastor Tim has the same heart that we have, the same heart for people, the same love for youth and for kids and for hurting, broken people.
Right.
It was amazing just watching him yesterday when we had all the food giveaway going on, and the pastor of this big church out there I'm drenched in sweat, handing out food and just out there running back and forth. And you don't see that every day. You don't see a heart like that in a lot of pastors.
Right.
They'll have people to do that, and they'll go to their office.
Right.
You got to have a heart for service.
Yeah.
I mean, and that, you was asking earlier about ministry. When I was first called to pastor, because I have been called to do that, but when I first I was running, like, just wanted to do it now.
Yeah.
I didn't want to wait on God. I was trying to make it happen in my flesh, and that's not how that works. And then I heard Jeremiah, like the first episode y'all did. Huge fan, by the way.
Hey, thank you.
Download, subscribe.
That's right.
It's awesome. Not just because I'm on it, because it's going to get better now because I'm on it.
Oh.
But anyway, it was the first episode, and Jeremiah was talking about, you had asked him the same basic question, where do you see you and Missy in ministry? And he's like, we're just here to serve.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that's it. I mean, don't push anything. Just serve people, serve God, and he'll put you where you need to be.
Yeah. That door open up.
Yeah.
When a door just opened for you because you're here, working with the media department here and just serving and doing whatever you can. And then boom, a door opens up and now you've got,
And it was crazy how it all, because he asked me, hey, well, we need help in the media department. And I'm like, I know I tinker with stuff and I know a good amount, but I don't know how to run anything. Like none of this do I know how to do. Like the app, no idea, never messed with it. The website, the podcast, any of that, I've never known how to do any of that. I just had to research it and really dig in and just tinker with it. And God has really blessed me in that kind of open heart of, the media is not where I'm called. I've been called since I was 12 years old. Knew what I was going to do. I was going to pastor in some form or fashion. I was going to speak God's word, preach God's word. But just the willingness to open up and say, wherever you need help at, wherever you need me at, like I'm here to help. I'm here to help you get God's word out in whatever way I can. And that, I think that really is what opened the door to now, being the youth pastors here and being able to minister to kids, which is, that 13 to 50-year-old is my demographic. Like that's who, I've always said it, that's who I think is the driving force for where our society is going. Left, right, up, down, for good or for bad. That's who's driving,
right.
So it's just, that's what happens when you're obedient and just say, I just want to help. I just want to be here and help in any way I can. So it's cool to see God open doors for all of us now. Yeah. All of us now have opportunities to do different things. And y'all are what is it called? Where you greet people, We greet people.
Yeah, hospitality.
That's the word. Hospitality.
He also called it pastoral care pastors.
I see. I like that.
That sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it sounds official.
Man, I like that.
No, I'm joking about it, but my wife and I both take that very seriously. It's an honor to us to do that, because I know how our pastor feels about people and how much he loves people and how much he wants people to feel welcome here. Yeah. And he wants people to come back, and he wants them to feel like family here, and to put us kind of, towards the head of that department of dealing with first time visitors and just kind of being the eyes and ears for the pastor, because he can't always be everywhere at one time, so you kind of are out there and being the face for, and talking to people for him. And that's just, to me, it's a huge honor. It's something that my wife and I, neither one take for granted.
Oh yeah. And y'all going to be great at it.
I hope so.
Like y'all are good looking couple. Don't tell any jokes. Don't tell any jokes. Let Missy do all the jokes. Okay. No, he'll bring one out every now and then. I'm like, where'd that come from? Clever. But yeah,
he just doesn't get most of them. They fly right over his head.
Exactly
so
right.
Like, you're not even funny. I'm like, man, that was good.
That's that 12-year-old in my brain that we're talking about. Like,
he likes that low brow humor. You can't get sophisticated at all. With, you're here. I'm sorry, I forgot.
What's sophisticated mean?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
You can look it up later.
Yeah. Well,
nobody's punching anybody. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, did you just call me a name? I don't even know. But yeah. Man, I'm just excited to be not only connected here at this amazing church, but be connected with y'all amazing people and
amen.
The rest of the people, Jessica and the Vips and the Russells and just all these amazing people kind of coming together at a perfect time where, Pastor was talking tonight about how it's time to harvest. It's time to get people in, and people are looking for something real. And it's going to be cool to be able to give them that and to see all these lives change. So I'm so excited. Jennifer, you're going to have to be quiet. Like, I can't talk with you. Just
Sorry.
But y'all have anything else? Anything God laid on your heart you want to say? You want to spill it out in this? We have like hundreds of thousands of followers. So you need to.
You have 12.
Say.
You have 12.
And a half.
It's Emma, but
that most of them are in your family.
That's exactly in one household. Just
Randl with no E.
Do they all? No. I asked one day, and Tristan's like, "Oh yeah, I deleted the app." I'm like, "What? You're gonna download it, subscribe, and then just delete it?" I guess.
Well, they had to have room for Clash of Clans.
Yep,
yeah,
that's exactly what it said. I have some games I had to download.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, priorities.
Them boys, I swear.
You heard that sigh. That was a serious sigh. Right?
Oh, that was real. That was
a real disappointment.
That was heartbreak right there. But yeah,
I really do want to say, all kidding aside, that I have listened to every episode of this podcast, and not to get cliche, but I've laughed, I've cried, I've been moved, I've been touched. It's really, really good quality stuff that y'all are putting out there, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. We really enjoy doing it. It's been a learning experience for us because, like you said, neither one of us had ever done anything like this before. But God's in it, and we know He's in it because it's fun, and it's been effective, and we've received a lot of feedback from friends and just different, different people that we know that's touched our lives. And we said from the jump, if it impacts one person, it's worth it.
Yeah.
We'll come up here and we'll do this all the time. If one person's being impacted by it, we'll continue to do it.
Oh yeah, man. And it's the best when somebody tells you, that you don't talk, that's outside of your immediate circle, that says, man, I've had a buddy from college that said, man, I've been going through a tough time, and it's really helped me get through that. Listen to y'all a couple times a week. And I had another buddy that messaged me this morning, shout out to you, Nicholas, that I woke up to this, and it was amazing. I shared it with Jeremiah. It said, I just wanted to say that your podcast has been a blessing. I've been trying to find a Christian podcast that I could listen to on repeat, because the only podcasts I really listen to are very secular. Your podcast has given me strength.
All right.
And to wake up to that was just amazing. I've known him for a while, and we've been kind of connected, but he lives a good deal away from where we live. So knowing that reach gets out there and knowing that it's touching people's lives that we may not see every day is amazing. It's amazing that we could come together, two dum-dums that really had no idea what we're doing, and still don't.
He just called you a dum-dum.
I know.
Yeah, both of those were for him, not for me. But to be able to come together and affect people's lives, because we strategically wanted this podcast to be different than the Message podcast, because the people that are looking for the Message podcast probably either go here or are thinking about going here to Lighthouse. This one is specifically for those who may not go to this church. You may have your own church. You may live out of state. We've got people from Texas who listen, people from France. We have a listener from France that listens every week. So to be able to reach out farther than what Lighthouse's reach is,
right,
and be able to just touch somebody and for 30 minutes twice a week, if this gets to you and it touches your life, let us know. Find us on Facebook. Message us, send in your questions, and let us know that it's reaching you, because it really is. That was the best way to wake up this morning, man, is to get that. So I was like, immediately was like, I don't know if he's awake, but I'm sending it to Jeremiah, because I just sat in bed and cried. It's like, wow, like, it's cool to hear that.
Yeah, I didn't care about waking either one of y'all up a couple weeks ago.
That was like
6:30 a.m. I was like, dude, I had to. It was just that important that I needed to tell y'all that it was awesome.
Yep.
That was cool.
Just touching lives, and then being able to do the few episodes we do with our wives and laugh and have fun. And, now we got the boys that came on and did a great job. It's the most amazing thing. I think we both wish we had just all day to do it all the time.
Yeah, it's fun.
Like, just sit here and just do it all day long. But it's been awesome, and I look forward to continuing. And I'm glad I get to do it with such an amazing friend. And
likewise.
And man, some of the stuff he says, like, I've said it before, but he's very soft spoken. He doesn't really speak up a lot. I do most of the talking because I got a big mouth. But the quality of what he says is I don't think he'll ever realize that, is sometimes when he speaks, it's so powerful and it means so much. And I get so much out of it when we're sitting on my couch this morning and he's just talking to me, and it's like, dude, I've been in this for decades now, 20 plus years, but to some of the stuff that he says changes my whole thinking about, what it is we're talking about. And I don't think he'll ever understand that, but I couldn't ask for a better person to do it with.
Wow. Thank you, dude. I love you, man.
Love you.
Well, do you guys have anything burning that you'd like to add here at the end?
I do want to say that I wish your last episode with the wives had been a call in with the driving.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because my wife, I drive.
Just giving a death stare right now.
She knew this was coming. So my last job, which I just switched jobs, but that's another story. But I drove 400 miles a day, give or take. But she thought I couldn't drive to the grocery store without her assistance in the passenger seat. So I appreciate that episode.
Oh yeah, to make you feel like you're not alone in this world
alone.
with the crazy.
I felt connected in a way that I've never had.
He drives better when I tell him how to drive.
That's not true. You don't even know where you're going half the time. But I love you anyway.
It still helps.
All right, you say so.
He says that you don't know where you're going. I don't know how many times we got lost on the way to Branson. Like, I'm like, yep, you're going to be turning left up here. He'd pass it and go, you didn't tell me till the last minute. Like, I told you half a mile ago.
He does that same thing to me.
Oh, my goodness.
So we got to go. So we're going to start bashing on
We're
me.
in Bluff. We're in the middle of the road. He had to, like, back up and get in the
I did
other
do that.
lane.
We hadn't even left.
Like, we haven't even left town yet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Did you drive your 400 miles a day in a circle?
It's not important
Right.
how that
A
happened.
left turn.
Okay, 3 against 1. That's not fair.
I didn't know you
odds
was a
right now.
NASCAR driver.
Okay, enough.
Oh, man. Well, hey, thank you all for joining us. If you don't have a home church, come check us out over here at the Lighthouse in Dexter. 8:30 morning service outside, 10 o'clock inside. We treat you like family around here. Once again, I'm Jeremiah.
And I'm Michael. Love y'all.